There was a time when Bill Cosby was one of the most loved men in America. He wasn't just a comedian, he was a father figure to millions. With his charm, humor, and powerful message about family, he became known as America's dad. The Cosby Show wasn't just a sitcom, it was a symbol of success, education, and hope. Viewers laughed, cried, and felt inspired. But behind that perfect image was a different story, one that few knew about. As his fame grew, so did the whispers. People who once admired him began to look closer. And years later, the man who made the world laugh would be sitting alone, facing accusations that would destroy everything he built. Today, at 86, Bill Cosby lives a quiet and isolated life, a far cry from the laughter-filled studios that once made him a legend. Before the fame, Cosby came from humble beginnings. Born in Philadelphia in 1937, he grew up in a poor family but learned early how to make people laugh. He dropped out of school, joined the Navy, and performed comedy in small clubs. His storytelling ability caught attention quickly. Audiences loved how he could make everyday life sound funny and real. By the 1960s, Cosby was breaking racial barriers. He became the first black actor to star in a drama series, I Spy, winning 3 Emmy Awards. He wasn't just entertaining people, he was making history. But fame is a heavy crown. The spotlight that made him powerful also made his private life harder to hide. When The Cosby Show premiered in 1984, it changed television forever. The Huxtable family was warm, funny, and educated, something rarely seen on TV at the time. Cosby became a role model for both black and white families. The show ran for 8 seasons, topping ratings and earning Cosby over $400 million in its lifetime. He was admired by presidents, honored by universities, and trusted by parents everywhere. But power can blind even the strongest man. As his reputation grew, so did his belief that nothing could touch him. No one knew that years later, the same fame that lifted him up would become the reason he fell so far. In the early 2000s, whispers began. A few women came forward, saying Cosby had used his fame to take advantage of them. At first, people refused to believe it. How could America's dad do such things? Cosby denied everything. His lawyers called it lies and media attacks. But slowly, more and more women came forward, all with eerily similar stories. The world was shocked. The man who once preached morality and family values was now accused of terrible things. Cosby's empire started to crumble. TV networks pulled reruns, awards were taken back, and friends stopped calling. The laughter was gone. By 2015, more than 60 women had accused Bill Cosby of assault. The news was everywhere. His once respected image became a symbol of betrayal. Universities cut ties, fans turned their backs, and Cosby's name became a dark reminder of how fast fame can disappear. In 2018, Cosby was found guilty and sentenced to prison. Cameras captured the moment he walked into court, old, slow, and silent. The man who once owned television now faced years behind bars. His legacy was gone. It was one of the biggest downfalls in entertainment history. Prison was harsh for an 80-year-old man. Cosby spent years in a Pennsylvania facility, away from the luxury he once enjoyed. He reportedly refused visitors, stayed quiet, and read books most days. He told interviewers he felt at peace, but insiders said otherwise. He was isolated and bitter. Once admired by millions, now forgotten by most. Other inmates called him Pops. Even in prison, his fame followed him, but not the respect. Time moved slowly. And with every passing day, the reality sank in. The world outside had moved on. In 2021, the world was stunned again. A court overturned his conviction, saying the case had legal issues. After almost 3 years, Cosby walked free. Cameras flashed, but this time there was no applause. Cosby smiled and said he was thankful to God. But freedom didn't mean forgiveness. The world didn't want him back. Shows stayed off the air, interviews refused, and his name remained a shadow of what it once was. He returned home to silence. No friends waiting. No fans cheering. Just an old man facing the weight of his past. Today, Bill Cosby lives in his large home in Massachusetts. It used to be filled with laughter, parties, and guests. Now it's quiet. Neighbors say he rarely leaves. Most days, he stays inside with his wife, Camille. She has stood by him through everything, though many question why. The two live almost entirely out of the public eye. The man who once controlled Hollywood now walks slowly with a cane through empty halls, surrounded by memories of better times. The silence inside those walls tells a story of fame, loss, and regret. At 86, Cosby's health is fragile. Reports say he suffers from vision problems, fatigue, and joint pain. His steps are slow, his speech softer. He still insists he's innocent, but his energy to fight has faded. He spends most of his days reading, listening to old recordings, or sitting in silence. The once loud, confident voice of comedy now struggles to be heard. Age has humbled him. Fame is gone, money remains, but peace? That's harder to find. Through all of it, Camille Cosby never left his side. Married since 1964, she stood firm even when the world turned against him. Many see her loyalty as strength, others as denial. She runs their household quietly, controlling who visits and what news reaches him. Friends say she's his only real companion now. It's a strange love story, one built on decades of fame and scandal. But as years pass, even love seems tired. They rarely appear in public, and their marriage survives mostly in silence. Cosby once dreamed of being remembered as a teacher, a moral guide for families. Now that legacy is shattered. His name is erased from awards, universities, and television history. Younger generations barely know who he was, and those who do remember only the scandal. The man who once shaped culture now watches his past erased one piece at a time. It's a painful reminder that reputation is fragile, and once it breaks, it never fully heals. After his release, Cosby spoke of returning to comedy. He said he wanted to tour again to tell his side. But no network, no venue, no fan base wanted it. Public outrage was still too strong. Every time he mentioned a comeback, backlash followed. So he stopped trying. The world had moved on, and Bill Cosby, the entertainer, the father figure, the icon, became just another man lost to time and controversy. Sometimes, old clips of The Cosby Show appear on social media. People comment, "This was my childhood," or "He was so funny before everything." It's a mix of nostalgia and sadness, remembering laughter that now feels tainted. Even those who loved him struggle to separate the man from the crimes. Cosby himself has said he misses performing. He misses the audience's laughter. But deep down, he knows that world is gone forever. In interviews, Cosby still refuses to apologize. He says he's been set up, that he's innocent. But for many, that silence, that lack of remorse, is what hurts most. Even if the courts cleared him, the people did not. His refusal to accept any responsibility keeps the wounds open. It's a sad ending for someone who once taught lessons about truth and family. The silence now says more than words ever could. As the years fade, Bill Cosby lives quietly, an old man surrounded by memories of laughter and shame. His career, once a symbol of hope, now stands as a warning. He has money, a home, and a wife, but not the one thing he always wanted, love from the people. At 86, he spends most days alone, reflecting on a life that had everything and lost it all. The man who once made the world laugh now lives in silence, a tragic reminder of how quickly greatness can vanish.